This is an SABC News presentation.
Our national anthem was penned by Enoch Sontonga and Samuel Mkai. It's a spiritual plea to God to watch over our nation, bless it, and end all wars and poverty. What kind of country are we building for our children? What future do they envisage for our country? What do they know of where we come from?
He was the president, and he died at the age of 96 years old. He was in jail for, I don't remember, 25 years. 27 for a long time.
Apartheid is bad.
It's Jacob Zuma's very, very expensive house.
Research suggests the better educated the parents are, the better educated the children will be.
Trouble. Elected political leaders would and should be role models at each other's throats. All this in the glare of public scrutiny. It doesn't end in parliament. It spills over into the streets, in our kasis, and everywhere we are. What do the children think of all this violence and chaos? We visited schools set in areas that have different socio-economics. We wanted to quiz the kids' general awareness. We visit Parkview Junior School, situated in the leafy Joburg central suburb of Parkview, and then spend a day in a classroom in Matlasedi Primary in Kagiso, which is in Krugersdorp. With the Department of Education's buy-in as well as the schools, we were allowed to join a grade 3 class from each.
Do you guys watch Parliament?
Yes.
I watched that.
Okay guys, wait one person at a time.
I didn't really pay attention to it, so.
Alright, what's your name?
Ethan.
Hey Ethan. What do you watch? What's happening in Parliament? Have you been watching?
Well, the last time I was watching stuff about Parliament, it was this big debate, like about Zuma, because all of the other parties, they were like having this big argument against Zuma.
Okay. You want to try?
The last time I saw Parliament was with my mom when they were trying to impeach Zuma.
The last time I watched it was the National Assembly, and I can't believe the DA just walked out because they were so angry with that judge. Yes. The judge. I watched it.
What did you want them to do?
The DA should have stayed and argued because why did they just walk out?
I found the children's responses interesting and wanted to explore them a little further. I would hold up a photo of a political or government figure, and they would tell me if they knew the person, who they were, and what they did.
Sure. Okay guys, who is this person?
She looks familiar. I know this.
Okay, we've got to answer the back guys.
I know this.
Madam Speaker.
Is this the Madam Speaker?
Yes.
Not correct, but close.
She looks so familiar.
Think about it.
Is she an actor?
No.
Why would Parliament be an actor?
Wow.
Wow. Wait. Something familiar.
Let's think. One of the judges.
Close, but not 100%.
Madam Judge.
The Secretary of State.
No. You want to try again?
Honorable member.
No, all meet.
No.
Ali meet at all.
Yes.
Unlimited.
Yes.
Come on. No. No, nice try. Anyone? No one. Unlimited. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Who's this guy? Okay, somebody different. Who hasn't had a turn? You haven't had a turn.
Julius Malema.
Great stuff. Okay, do you want to tell us what Julius Malema does?
He's the leader of the EFF.
Okay, cool. What do you guys know about Julius Malema and the EFF? Okay, come again?
They're political politician.
More Kimang. Kimang Malem.
President.
Kimang o tseba ngore Julius Malema o etsang guys. Le mtsebela kae ntate Malem? O dula etsang ko TV. Akutli? Balwanelang. Akutli? Okay, babata. So Malema o lwana le ANC. Balwana la di vote. Okay, so lona le to vote a le khol. Okay, go matsoch. Ke le to vote next year. O a le khodi. This one is very easy, guys. I even know this one. Okay.
It's Jacob Zuma.
Okay, guys, wait, who? Okay, who wants to tell us? Wait, let's choose him. He hasn't said anything. Do you know who's on the image?
He was the president, and he died at the age of 96 years old. He was in jail for, I don't know, 25 years. 27 for a long time, and then the white people freed him, and then he asked for them to free the black people also, because they were not treating the black people well. And then he was elected as the president.
Yes. Kemang tato.
Nelson Mandela.
Wetang tato Nelson Mandela.
E ne le presidente ya ANC ya fetsa for abatlhokafala.
Good girl. The last one, ne? Okay, guys, Kimang tato. Kimang? Okay, President Zuma, ne?
Yes.
Okay, njwetse ka ntate Zuma.
Presidente wa ANC.
Okay. Njwetse ka ntate Zuma, baby.
Presidente wa ANC gape Malema o batla go mo lwantsha.
O mo lwantsha ba lwana yena le Malema. Kimang president of South Africa, guys. So, ke president Khaitu. The Rajwan. Kimang president ANC, Kimang president Zuma. Kimang president ANC, Kimang president South Africa.
Zuma. President ANC Zuma.
President of South Africa? Sorry? How Azama Tokofala Khantin Tate Mandela? So, Kimang president of South Africa?
Zuma.
President of ANC?
Zuma.
Well, they haven't.
No, they haven't.
Do you know why?
Well, we didn't know. Firstly, we'll
I
ask.
can tell you.
Why?
They say you're selling out.
Why?
Well, I guess that's a question you need to engage them.
Why would the African Union try and separate human rights and women's rights?
Women's rights are indeed human rights.
So we need to be asking ourselves, what kind of society are we? What kind of family structures do we have where parents, where fathers turn on their daughters?
If a policeman, is seen to be accessing psychological services, couldn't that be seen as a sign of weakness?
People are waiting for somebody to discover them.
Absolutely.
And that's not everybody's story, am I right? I mean, there's so many of us who can be the best and stars, but you can't sit there and wait for somebody to say, I think what you're doing is great.
Which are so different to his past.
I really wish I could say thanks to him. And man, I'm the man. I make coffee and I'm proud of it.
For your daily dose of current affairs, tune in to the SABC News Channel.
Africa is growing. As a result, it's also advancing the way it does things.
Any developments in technology can really do a lot to boost growth.
On Network, we'll show you how technology is improving the lives of Africans.
The life of an LED globe is 15 times longer than what they have currently.
We also have new gadgets, games, and the continent's innovative technology ideas. That's Network with me, Spumelele Zondi, every Sunday at 19:30 Central African Time.
This one's also relatively easy, guys. Bam! Right. Okay, your turn. You say something. What do you... Yes, you. Mohammed.
Jacob Zuma, he is our president now, and the other parties, they fighting for the ANC.
Okay, great. I want to talk to you. You said something about impeachment. Don't you want to tell me again?
What I said is that the ANC are on Jacob Zuma's side, but the DA are also trying to impeach Zuma.
What is impeach? What does it mean?
Impeach means that if you're the president, you get fired being the president.
Does anybody here know what Nkandla is? Right at the back. Can we go to the back? That's... Hold on first.
It's Jacob Zuma's very, very expensive house.
How do you know it's very, very expensive?
Because he spends millions on it. And it's way too big, and normally you wouldn't get someone with that big a house, and he doesn't even use his money for Nkandla.
Whose money does he use?
The taxpayers.
This is the president. Isn't he allowed to do what he wants?
Not that much.
Okay, King Nkandla, guys. Little Nkandla. Okay, let's go. Why is Nkandla? Buela godimo nna.
You can like a place e KwaZulu-Natal.
Okay, go tsagalang mo place e. Go tsagalang ka June 16.
Le go votiwa.
June 16. Ne go votiwa, ne ba votela eng?
Go zamatlogela go vote.
Gore zamatlogela. Okay.
Ka June 16 le go votiwa. Youth Day is basically Children's Day.
Okay.
I know what happened. And in Youth Day, it was a very sad day because the children were fighting, saying they didn't want to learn in Afrikaans, and one person who was about 12, his name was Peter Maritz? No. He was shot by the police and he died.
That was very unfortunate.
Yeah, but eventually the children did win.
Okay. So what can we learn from that, do you think?
Apartheid is bad.
Well, they haven't.
No, they haven't.
Do you know why?
Well, we didn't know. Firstly, we'll ask.
I can tell you.
Why?
They say you're selling out.
Why?
Well, I guess that's a question you need to engage them.
Why would the African Union try and separate human rights and women's rights?
Women's rights are indeed human rights.
So we need to be asking ourselves, what kind of society are we? What kind of family structures do we have where fathers turn on their daughters?
If a policeman, is seen to be accessing psychological services, couldn't that be seen as a sign of weakness?
People are waiting for somebody to discover them.
Absolutely.
And that's not everybody's story, am I right? I mean, there's so many of us who can be the best and stars, but you can't sit there and wait for somebody to say, I think what you're doing is great.
Which are so different to his past.
I really wish I could say thanks to him. And mind you, I'm the man. I make coffee and I'm proud of it.
For your daily dose of current affairs, tune in to the SABC News Channel.
Children are said to be born with a tabula rasa, that is Latin for a scraped tablet, understood to refer to a mind that has no ideas imprinted on it. This means that the environment is critical in shaping their earliest understanding of the world. We visited a creche in Midlands, Soweto called Enkolweni and spoke to a child there. His name is Sibahle. I wanted to know what he wants to do when he's all grown up.
And then? Tell Jacob Zoom. When's in Jacob Zoom? When you pay my lady.
1,000, 200, 4,000, 600.
Uyiphe wena or uyiphe mamakho?
Yabo uyasipha.
Yeah.
Uyasipha. Qeda. Aqeda ukusipha.
Why wena ufuna niphi imali grant?
Uyosiphayo.
Uyaniphi? Why ufuna niphi?
nokubhadala school fees, ne-trip, ne-gadgeting, ne-pyjama parts.
All of you get out of those offices of Chamber of Mines. I don't know what you're doing there. You don't even own a mine. Come here.
Umalema ngithanda.
Okay. Why? Ngoba
Okuma abantu gabi. Ulusa ama-security. Yangina.
Where is it, DA?
DA.
Yeah.
Through the entire program, we've given children of South Africa an opportunity to tell us what they think. Should we write off their opinions as meaningless childish banter? Educational psychologist Melanie Hartgill puts it into perspective for us.
From a professional point of view, as well as a mom, I think it's important that children build a general knowledge and a base level of understanding. So what's going on around them in terms of who the political figures are, who's the ruling party, what does our flag look like, why are those the colours in our flag, who designed it and what was the reason behind that design, the coat of arms, all those sort of things. I think it provides a very good base level of understanding insofar as improving general knowledge, vocabulary, problem solving, reasoning, and a sense of history. I do believe that if you know what's gone on in the past, you hopefully won't repeat those mistakes moving forward.
Should we trust our children to make up their own minds, or should we structure their opinions for them?
I think you let them make up their own mind as they get older. So when they're younger, I think parents do feed into, or they feed their children directly the information that they want them to be aware of. I could see on the video with the clips of some of those children where there's obviously been discussion at home in terms of the information that they knew. The grade 3 little girl who could explain what impeachment meant and who the opposing parties were and who the figures were involved in that, I thought was actually quite impressive. And she'd obviously been given the information at a level at which she was able to understand it.
And thank you very much, because I had to reshuffle the questions. Yes, here is to Abaza, because of the withdrawal of another question.
Do kids simply regurgitate the media's opinion on issues, particularly the president?
I'm not entirely sure that Zuma is always portrayed favourably in the media. I'm not going to discuss whether I feel that's right or wrong, but I do feel most of the news reports about Zuma are fairly negative in terms of where he's spent money or charges that have been laid against him.
Hands, guys. Looking for hands. Ta-da!
I know! It's the president!
Hands, guys. Do you know?
I know. It's Zuma. It's Jacob Zuma.
Who's that?
Jacob Zuma. I thought that's one on my TV.
Okay. Would you then say kids pick up what they hear from their parents?
Without a shadow of a doubt. Definitely.
Yes.
Good. Bua.
I want to be a soccer player. When I grow up, I want to be a singer, actress, and a vet.
You want to be a pharmacist?
I wanted Melanie to explain why the children from less affluent schools seemed less confident and didn't have extraordinary career ambitions.
In a less affluent area, the focus is more on day-to-day living. You know, they're living on a grant, so that they are living, I want to say, from paycheck to paycheck, so from grant to grant. There isn't extra money and spare money and transport available to drive them across the city to go and have horse riding lessons twice a week or something along those lines. So I think it changes the perspective that there might be less of a future focus, because the future is tomorrow rather than in 12 years' time.
All right. And then on the other side is our protein. What is the protein? Okay. Roddy? Nuts or protein? What else, Andy?
What is the importance of education in the family space?
When you take a background history from a parent before you start working with a child, one of the things you look at is the educational background of the parents. And the reason why we look at that is because research suggests the better educated the parents are, the better educated the children will be. And it comes from a number of different areas. The one is if the parents have achieved, they want their children to achieve as well. And so they push them and they encourage them to reach that same level of achievement. But the other area of it is they are then available to assist with extramurals or homework tasks or something along those lines. And generally, and it's not obviously a across the board definite diagnosis, but generally children with better educated parents who want their children to succeed, the children are going to do better in that environment.
Is it important for children to be patriotic?
I think in any situation, whether it's a workplace, a family, or the larger picture of being the country, there needs to be a sense of pride. I think you need to commit to where you live or where you work or whatever the case may be, and know as much about it as you can so that you support it as best you can.
Guys, before get
a doctor or a lawyer? I want to be a vet. I want to be a sportsman.
I want to go to the army, and if I survive, I want to be an electrical engineer.
A wildlife vet, a designer.
I either want to be a cat mascot or an artist.
And I want to be an app developer or a sculptor. I either want to be a pharmacist or an accountant. I want to be a scientist. I want to be a scientist or a cricket player.
I want to be a mechanic.
And when I grow up, I want to be a pilot.
I want to be a teacher or a fashion designer.
I want to be a doctor when I grow up.
I want to be a pilot.